Hey guys, it's Nicole Eaton with the Rock Your Soul book and podcast, where we talk about how to hack your mindset, grow your intuition, and live your best life. You can support this podcast by subscribing, leaving a positive review, and screenshot and sharing on social media. What's up, guys? It's Nicole Eaton, author of the book Rock Your Soul, the Down to Earth Guide to Mastering Your Mind, and Soul Therapist. And we're back with another season of the Rock Your Soul podcast. I think we're going to make 100 episodes by halfway through this year. And that's so exciting to me. So I just want to throw out a thank you for everybody who has supported this podcast. And again, you can always support these podcasts by subscribing, liking, sharing, sending it to a friend who it might resonate with. It all matters. It all adds up. And I appreciate literally all of it. Reviews are awesome too. This is a new year. We're in a new year. And I took the last few weeks off, one, because I was not feeling good, AKA my voice. And two, it was good to rest. It was good to rest and come back. I love reflection. Reflection's one of my favorite things. And one of my favorite things about the new year isn't necessarily resolution. It's looking at my life, looking at what's working, looking at what's not working. It's taking a really good personal inventory of who I am, who I'm being. Are there areas of my existence that I'm wanting to change or improve? And that's how I look at my resolutions, because a lot of times I feel like resolutions are simply like a wish thing. Like, wouldn't it be nice if I lost 20 pounds? Or like, wouldn't it be nice if I got a different job? And when we have loose attachments to our resolutions, when we have loose attachments to our goals, and there's something we should do other than the standard for, I just don't want to do this anymore. My standard for living my life isn't that I'm miserable every day. It's that I'm going to figure out a fucking way to be happy. When we raise our standards on our experience and we raise our standards on our life, that's when we make change. So I want you to check in with your reflection of your 2021 or whatever year you're listening to this in. Hopefully, this will be an evergreen podcast. But I want you to ask yourself, what went well? What did I kick ass at? What am I most proud of? What would I brag about if I were to write a book on it about this year? And maybe your only bragging thing is that you made it through. Some years are like that. But this is a perfect chance to look at what comes next for you. And the cool thing about a new year is it is a fresh start. It is a fresh beginning. And the thing I'll remind you of is it doesn't have to be a new year, and you do not have to be listening to this podcast on a new year. Every single second of every single day is a chance to start fresh, is a chance to make a change, is a chance to raise your standards of how you're going to live your life and who the fuck you're going to be. So, this podcast isn't necessarily about resolutions. It's about making true change. Like, what does it take to make real change in this year? And I'm not necessarily new year, new me vibe, right? But how do we become the best version of yourself? That is always what I'll thrive for. That is always what I'll push for. How do you become the best version of who you were meant to be in this world? What do you have to look at? What do you have to believe about yourself to be true? Self perception is either the gateway or the limit to your life, to the things, to the change, right? We are congruent. We are super congruent with who we believe ourselves to be. Our brain hates cognitive dissonance. It will look for examples of what you believe. It is a computer software program. We've talked about this a million times on this podcast, and it's nothing more. And so, what we have to recognize is this is true about who we believe ourselves to be and how we act in accordance with that. And I'm just thinking, I have a client I'm working with who I've been working with for a couple months now, who is just super shy but doesn't want to be. There's a deeper desire in there to own a business, to operate in a way that's more public, to put the things that have changed their life out there. And so we've really had to talk about this idea of like, okay, who do you believe yourselves to be? Because when I talk to this person, when we have these conversations, they say, well, I'm really an introvert, and it's really hard for me to make those connections and big groups overwhelm me and I can't see myself doing this. And their self perception is full of limitations of who they believe themselves to be. And the thing is our beliefs are thoughts. They're simply thoughts we've had on repeat. Sometimes we've had them for years and years and years, and we've subscribed to them religiously, like we're in a cult, and they're not always true. I used to believe I was an introvert because when I was little, I was shy. And what that really came down to is I was afraid. I was afraid to talk to people because I was afraid what they would think I was saying was stupid. I was afraid that I would, say something wrong. I was afraid they wouldn't like me. I was super shy for the sole reason that I was afraid. Now, do I benefit more off of recharging my energy by myself? Absolutely. So if you're thinking, I'm an introvert, I'm shy, blah, blah, blah. Introvert is a thing. Introvert and extrovert simply means how do I get my energy? Introvert means I get my energy refilled when I'm by myself. I can refill my energy when I'm completely on my own, in my own space and my own energy. Extrovert means I thrive and feel most energized when I'm around other people. So, shyness is not either of those things. Introversion doesn't need to decide you're shy. I hope that makes sense. When you decide things about you to be true, you validate them within yourself. And we validate those things through emotion. And we validate emotion through action. So it's kind of like this beautiful little link, right? We've got the thought several times over that turns into a belief. A belief is an emotion that we have when we feel that. So if I feel like I'm shy, I have that resistance energy. When I have a resistance energy, even if I might act differently in a social setting. I might just not go to a social setting. I might refuse invitations. I might only go and stick to people I know and only talk to people I know if I do go. So, a lot of times we have to look at our resolutions or our goals and ask ourselves, okay, do I believe I'm that person? What if I was that person? What would that take to be that person? What belief would I have to have about myself to become that person? Because you will be consistent with who you believe yourself to be. So if you're looking at these resolutions for your new year and there is no blatant desire, there are things you should do or things that would be nice to do, and we just have a lack of belief around your ability to actually do any of those things. And I want you to ask yourself that real question because even in the self-help world or spiritual world, we convince ourselves of shit we don't actually believe all the fucking time. Like we've nailed it. Like we've done it. Like we're 100% in when we're still having raging thoughts of lack or fear or insecurity in our private time. So I want you to own those pieces because when we start to own that, okay, I really feel like I keep saying I'm a confident person, but deep down daily, I'm feeling insecure. I'm having insecure thoughts. And so your job is to go to bat with those insecure thoughts throughout the day instead of tackling that big I'm confident piece. Your thought is to catch those thoughts throughout the day. Just be mindful. Just be aware you have them. You don't have to be like, "Oh man, I had that thought again." You can simply go into a space of like, "Oh, that thought's not helpful. What would I rather think?" That's how we start to change our mind through consistency, through repetition, and through just simply deciding because these thoughts are automatic loops. These thoughts are just things you've been thinking over and over again. And most of them are bullshit. Most of our thoughts we think are just bullshit. So we can actually go in and reconstruct an inner world that is a better reflection of who we believe ourselves to be, who we'd like to believe ourselves to be. One of my favorite speakers, Les Brown, if you've ever heard his story, it's absolutely phenomenal. And he was like abandoned in I think like an old storage building or something when he was a baby. Like his mother just left him there and he was adopted 6 weeks later. And I think when he was like in grade school, Les Brown was told that he was mentally challenged and put in special education. And so there was a message things sent to you when you're a kid, when you've got adults or specialists telling you who you can and can't be, what your limits are, what your possibilities are. And so he was convinced that he could not read, that he was too dumb. So now let's break that apart. Now, if I believe I'm not good enough, if I believe I'm not smart enough, if I believe I'm just dumb, something's wrong there, then I might not actually even try. I might not put myself in situations to try. I might not raise my hand. I might not clarify because I'm just clearly too dumb to get it. I'm not good enough to do it. I might not put myself out there to even try, right? So when Les Brown was in high school, he had, I believe it was a drama instructor who asked him to read something on the board. And he was like, well, I can't. I'm mentally challenged. And the teacher looked at him and said, yes, you can. Yes, you will. Let's figure it out together. And broke that limitation within Les Brown's mind, that he was challenged, that he was unable to do these things, that he was dumb, that he was whatever. And he is one of the most profound, renowned speakers in history, I believe, in my personal opinion. I can't speak for everybody else, but we become who we decide ourselves to be, and we accept limitations over time of what people tell us we can or can't be. And our goals are directly related to that. So we can look at our goals and we can look at our resolutions, but then we have to really go back through and ask ourselves, do I believe I'm capable of that? Do I believe in myself? And my other really important thing that I've been learning over this past year is, who am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? Do I want to lose weight because I like to feel healthy and skinny, and I like to fit my clothes different, and I like to know my health is optimal? Or do I want to do it to look a specific way for other people to notice? Because that's what all the Instagram people are doing, and that's the thing right now. Do I want to get this job because I want the responsibilities and to make the impact, or do I want to get this job to be valued and seen in a different way? I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to look at your goals and look at your resolutions and make sure they're fucking for you. Make sure the goals and the resolutions and the things you're setting yourself up for this year are about you, because you can only work so hard for other people. You can only pick yourself up. Like, willpower is not really a natural thing. Willpower is a practice, it's a habit. Some people might have it. I don't personally have a natural willpower. I wake up every day and I choose to do something, or I choose not to do it. And so willpower comes from creating a habit of deciding, and that decision has to come from a place of, my standard is that I want better for myself. I want healthy for myself. I want to wake up and look in the mirror and be like, hell yeah, you look hot, bitch. I want to like I want that so deeply within my soul, or I want that job, or I want to go back to school, not because I feel like other people will recognize me as more important or smarter or better or more knowledgeable because I have this specific degree, but because I'm hungry for the knowledge and what it will help me create in the world. This is how you show up differently into your life. This is how you make meaning, is you look at these goals and make sure they're coming from a place of desire. And check in with your desires. Desires are so important. Do you know desires are like a little whisper from your higher self of like, this is who you can be? Desires aren't random, and we don't obtain a desire for something unless it's innately within us. I really believe that. I really believe that our desires come from our higher self, and a little messenger from our higher self, that the things we most deeply want are not by mistake. And the things we most deeply want, we have everything within us, in all of the things leading up, in the connections we'll make and the relationships we'll have and the things we'll learn and the growth we'll experience, that will lead us to obtain those desires, if we shall listen to them, if we shall not give up. My word of the year is perseverance. I've been thinking so much about perseverance. We took the kids to go see Hamilton over Christmas, and if you haven't watched Hamilton, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's on Disney Plus, streaming there. But Hamilton is maybe not the, like, most morally perfect person in history, however, he didn't give up. He committed to a vision and he pushed for it. He found ways to it. He found ways around it. He was an immigrant. He was poor. He shouldn't have done or created the things he did, and he did because he did not stop. And so when I think of reaching your goals, I've been thinking a lot about perseverance of like if you've been to actually, I watched Sing 2 last night, and it was like, in the beginning of the movie I'm gonna give away spoilers, so if you wanna watch Sing 2 and not have spoilers, I'm gonna give away spoilers. But in the beginning of the movie, there was a higher up, person for this major audition who was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna be good enough pretty much ever. You're not gonna be able to handle this. We wouldn't pick you ever." And through perseverance, this little koala, found his way to make it happen and created this incredible show and did this incredible thing. And so part of our job is to be the koala. This is silly. No, it's to be the koala. It's to look at our goals and not let setbacks be the end. Not let the no's be the final straw, not let the disapproval be the final straw, not let the opinion of a person or a group of people be it for us. Perseverance means that I choose myself every fucking day of the year, all day long. I choose me. I choose my desires. I choose to know that the universe is supporting me. And I know I'm capable of doing it. And with those things combined, there's nothing you can't do. If you're just going to not give up and you're just going to keep going because you have a desire burning inside of you and you get to choose how you're going to make that happen. You get to choose that you're going to push to make that happen because your standard is no longer that you accept being told no or being less than what you know you're capable of being. There's no way you can fail. So, when we're setting new goals for a year, we also have to consider and we have to come back to that idea of like, what is your actual vision for yourself? What is your actual vision for what you desire and what you want? What is your actual vision? Not, I want to lose 10 pounds, not, I want to get this job, not, I want to go back to school. What for? What for? Because at the end of the day, when we're trying to make change, we can focus on one of two aspects of change, right? And our focus determines everything. Our focus determines everything. Actually, they did a study, and even the word problem versus the word challenge. The word problem weakens the organism, you, in your energy field. The word challenge actually raises it. So when we look at something as a problem, we feel weak. When we look at something as a challenge, we feel strong. So when we're looking at our life and we're looking at change, we also have to like, what are we focusing on? Are we focusing on the things we're losing by making this change? Are we focusing on, the stress from school? Are we focusing on all the things, like I always think of I always think of weight loss for some reason, but like, are you focusing on the risk or on the reward? What are you losing or what are you gaining? When we can focus on the reward of the situation, okay, so when I do this, I feel better. I feel more in alignment with myself. When I speak my truth, it feels freeing. When I quit this smoking or sugar or whatever you're trying to give up, I feel more with it. I feel more on top of it. I feel more energized. When I do this, I see this for myself. I see myself as a healthy individual. I see myself as a successful individual, and success means this to me. So, when we can actually look at the reward of the situation and hold that in a vision, how good does that feel? How we feel when we're looking at goals matters. If we're looking at them with dread or with that energy of like, God, I don't even see it for myself. I don't even know if I can do this. We change our ability to do it. When we, again, our self perception matters. So when we decide something is true for us, we match the energy. So when we can look at something and say, "Ooh, that excites me," that lifts me up. That lights me up from the inside out. And it feels so good to think about. It feels so exciting to think about. And what if every morning we just thought about it a little bit? What if we just looked at it? What if we had a little vision board as our screensaver on our phone since we're on that damn thing all day? Like, what if it was a constant input of the good that can come from making this change rather than what we're losing when we're making it? Because we're always losing comfort, and comfort's easy. We're always losing comfort no matter what kind of change it is. It was comfortable. Even bad situations after a while will normalize to comfort. So what are you gaining? What's the possibility here? Gateway or limitation? What are we going to choose? It's your year. It can either be the same exact year as last year. And if you're having the same thoughts and you're in the same energy and you're talking the same shit with the same people, it will be the same year. You will have the exact same year. It might not be the same situations, but it will be similar ones. So your change comes from daily intention. Your change comes from looking at your day, looking at who you want to be, and asking what little rituals, little habits will get you there. And then start doing them. Your commitment is to yourself, your commitment is to your reward, your commitment is to your vision of who you're capable of being. And you might have to wake up and remind yourself because there are days where I don't feel well and I don't want to do the things, or I'm like losing my voice like I still am. There are days where you're not going to want to do it, and you're going to have something strong enough within you, around you, a visual cue, a reminder, an accountability person. Although I personally don't like accountability people because if they're going to fail, I end up failing too. Very empathic and match that. Whatever that is, you have to set yourself up for success. I love a bullet journal. I will swear up and down by a bullet journal every day of the fucking week. Get yourself a bullet journal, go on Pinterest and Google it so you know what I'm talking about. Go on Pinterest and Google it. Yeah, go on Pinterest and look it up because you will see what I'm talking about. I do a daily tracker and I go through every single morning. I sit with this and look at the handful of things I want to do today. So, my big goal is always about what kind of energy I'm bringing to my life. I want to feel good. I want to feel upbeat. I want to feel energized. The things that I know help me do that are meditation, working out, reading new information, and manifesting. So, those are my daily things that I do every single day. It's a commitment to myself because I'm worth committing to. That's the thing about goals. You have to believe you're worth committing to make them happen. You have to believe that you can create time in your day even if you don't feel like you've got enough time. Do it in the car while your kid's at soccer practice. Wake up a little early, stay up a little later. Create a ritual where there's an earlier bedtime. I'm a mom, so these are all going to be mom focused, but your commitment to yourself is the most important. So I like a bullet journal because I can go through every single day and check that off. And it feels damn good checking all of them off. And yesterday, I didn't read. I like to read 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes. I have 10 minutes. I can create 10 minutes in my day for myself. That's easy. I can do that. I can create 20 minutes for a workout. If you don't have an hour in your day for yourself, you need to look at your schedule and ask yourself, where is this all going? Where is my time all going? What are things that I feel obligated or feel like I have to do that I'm not actually obligated or have to do. I'm doing it out of guilt. I'm doing it out of whatever. Because I'll tell you, if you take 1 hour a day to refill yourself, take a bubble bath, take an Epsom salt bath, meditate for 10 minutes. You don't need to sit there all day. You don't need to do an hour workout. Let's make this year more accessible by breaking down these big goals into really small daily things that build because they will build. Your biceps will build if you build them every day. You build that muscle every single day. Every time you do it, you get a little bit better. You gain momentum. And progress equals happiness. When we're making progress in our lives in any way, shape, or form, when something is subtly changing, it does not have to be a massive, big change. It can subtly change and still fucking matter. That's when we're happy. That's when we feel good. When we're making progress in our life, when we're making small, subtle changes, even if they're not the big, massive things, that's when we feel successful. So bullet journal. Check it off. I like to check the boxes and make sure, like, okay, so there's things I'm slacking on. One of the things I was slacking on yesterday is the reading. Okay, so today I'm just going to read an extra 5 minutes longer to accommodate that. Or maybe I don't have time for that. Maybe I just stick with 10. but I at least have the awareness of like, oh, I feel differently when I have that in my life. I feel better when I have that in my life. So it's up to you to create the year you desire. But first, you have to decide who the hell you are. Are you a person capable of achieving those goals? And what's the reward at the end? What's the vision for the version of yourself that achieves those things? And double check that you're in congruence with it. Make those daily steps so that you can be in your power in your life. This can be your year. It really fucking can. You're doing a good job. You were last year. But if you want to become a better version of you, if you're looking at areas of your life and you're like, oh, oof, gotta fix that, then fucking fix it. Take the responsibility for any area where you're dropping the ball, for any area of standards that you keep letting in your life, and you know better. And you know it's not what you want, and you know, but when you sit there and you hold the vision for who you're going to be, you will be incongruent with the actions of that person. Because the more you envision yourself as that person who is successful in that change, the more you envision the reward of that change, the more likely you are to develop the belief, to develop the emotional energy, and follow through with the action. It's an equation. It's an equation that I swear to you works every freaking time. It is the recipe for changing your life. And I hope you follow it. And I hope you have the best fucking year ever. I hope you do. I hope you thrive. I hope you come out of this year feeling like, wow, I really freaking did it. I got it. I nailed it. That was the best year I've ever had. And play and have more fun and stop taking life so seriously. And make sure to follow me, Nicole Eaton, .xo on Instagram. I'm going to hopefully be doing more TikToks. I'm going to do more TikToks this year. I'm going to do more videos this year. And yeah, I'm always grateful to you all. Make sure you share this with a friend if it resonated. And I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Your Soul book and podcast. Take a moment to book a one-on-one session with me or purchase my trainings at NicoleEaton.com. Join the Rock Your Soul Facebook group or follow me on Instagram at NicoleEaton.xo. And if you loved this podcast, don't forget to share it. Thank you.